Well, basically what it was that we received a call this morning because clearly both the Prime Minister and the President of Parliament are concerned about the information that has been circulating in the community. And they felt it necessary to speak not only with the employers' associations, but I believe tomorrow they'll be speaking with the unions to make sure that we all fully understand the background, the history, on what has happened. And what we talked about this afternoon was basically that, the history of the Fiscal Council and the negotiations and how we ended up where we did last week with the legislation. And we were aware of that because we'd been part of the social dialogue that took place in 2013 and part of 2014. And so consequently, nothing really today we heard was a surprise. And then we had the opportunity to ask some questions, broader questions about the implications of passing the legislation and going forward. And so it was a very, very constructive meeting. We were talking about the legislative calendar, about certain things that have been held up because of this. And I mean, clearly we have to proceed within the context of the guidelines that have been laid down within the CAFT legislation. And the next step will be the actual measures themselves, which will be taken by the government themselves in cooperation and consultation with the sector. So, I mean, our primary concern, obviously, is what happened last week is extremely unfortunate. And it's obviously a small minority of individuals, politically motivated individuals. And that's speaking on behalf of a tourism community. I mean, 90% of Aruba's economy depends on tourism. And clearly, that can only succeed if we have a very positive perception overseas, because people are not going to come to a destination where they feel unsafe. So anything that threatens that perception is threatening the livelihood of Arubans. And that was one of the things that we communicated to the Prime Minister and to the President. And a lot of it has to do with enforcement. A lot of it has to do with basically accepting accountability and responsibility, that we're all in this together. We have to make it work. But Aruba is very special. It's very different from many countries. It depends upon inviting people to Aruba from overseas to spend money here. There really isn't much else in Aruba that generates income. And so consequently, you have to be very careful about the perception that you have overseas, because it threatens, if anything damages that, it threatens the livelihood of the residents and people of Aruba. So we had a particular instance where a meeting planner was visiting one of the hotels. He was interested in booking a substantial piece of business, and I'm talking about maybe $500,000 worth of business. And he was, but I thought you told me Aruba was safe. Yes, this is something exceptional. This doesn't normally happen, but you know, that can threaten. We have people here visiting all the time, checking out whether it's worthwhile booking business here. And that just happened last week.
Como membro di board di Hata, nós estamos aqui na AUE, a invitação de todos, onde nós pedimos para nós poder para nós perguntar arriba que detalhes exatamente de CAFT e também para explicar enquanto o incidente que tomou lugar. Simão Bassá, que para nós como setor turístico é muito preocupante. Right? A mim mesmo, para uma base personal, eu vou inteiro e eu me trabalho depois uma outra recepção, que eu me passa full round para poder chegar para o Turquia da será. Ou imaginava se havia turista chegando a Aruba, anda botar a polícia da será Turquia, com sirena e notada boa imagem. Vamos para ser aqui não. Nessa tem pensado em vir back o diálogo social, na onde a gente pode ter uma oportunidade para expressar na mesa preocupação e quando por chega na resolução. Ela trabalha bastante bom em 2012, 2013 e ainda por mim também, que me quer dar algo que me tem outra maneira que o que passa em passar, me tem. A lei de CAFTA basicamente é uma supervisão, right? A dia hopi gente tem supervisão. A mim é acostumado a ser como banqueiro, mas a mim tem banco central que supervisa-me. E é algo que é tem ou e nós temos que dizer vai cumprir com ele.